G'day! This is Ghost Wolf and I suck at Minecraft. A couple of weeks ago, you know, I moved into a woodland mansion, but we've already done the whole woodland mansion bit. And just a little bit north of said woodland mansion was a lovely little island with the dark oak forest. And the more I thought about the two swamps on either side of the mansion, and the more that I thought about turning that mansion into an island, the more it occurred to me that, hey, I could just move to the private island just across the way. So I'm gonna start with terraforming the southern beach, and I'm starting here because for most purposes this will be, or at least for the time being, this will be the primary approach to the mansion, and the main entrance will face this way. So the first thing I want to do is I want to just tidy things up a bit. So I found our first hole, and fortunately it's not very deep, so all I'm really going to have to do is cover it over, and I'll work out how I want to do that as I better establish the shape that I want to make this part of the beach. And I'm trying to keep it fairly natural, trying to keep it fairly similar to how I got distracted. So I'm going to lower the level of sand, and I'm going to reshape this area here to get a smoother sort of appearance. So you see here that I am bringing the dirt line, I guess, forward so that I can make the transition up to the middle of the island a little bit smoother, but also so that the middle part of the island is a little bit larger. I don't want to lose this ground area to beach, because I know that there are some very large beaches around other sides of the island. But I do want to make the look just a little more consistent, but without taking away that random element from the natural generation. And I am just 100% making this up as I go along. I have no clue what this is going to look like, or what I'm specifically aiming for at this point. A Minecraft world is usually more or less riddled with holes. Various types of cave formations. But I feel that this particular seed seems to have a lot right up near the surface. So one of the reasons that I stepped away from working on the Woodland Mansion was that the terrain around it was like Swiss cheese, and terraforming it was going to be a bigger pain than I wanted to deal with. In order to know where I'm going to build this slope up to, I need to decide what I'm going to have as the highest level for the area. So I'm just having a look around the middle of the island to see what areas I want to shave off and what parts I want to dig down. In the past, I would have just mercilessly leveled probably the top third of the island, but I've since come to understand that you don't necessarily have to dig down to reshape an area, you can also build it up. So the highest parts of the ground don't need to be brought down to the level of the valleys within it. The valleys can be filled up, and there will be enough dirt to go around. More than enough dirt to go around. And I'm digging up dirt from other parts of the island right now to fill in this beach, but I really don't need to. I could go back across the water to the Woodland Mansion where I still have my storage and get several more stacks of dirt if I actually needed it. So I've found yet another hole. And unlike the first, this one isn't a nice short dead end. And if you watched Season 1, you probably know that I hate spelunking. Really hate it. Few things trigger my anxiety quite like going into a cave. And it's slightly absurd, obviously, because I am playing on peaceful, so, you know, there's no zombies or creepers to jump out and eat my face. A skeleton's not going to appear on the far side of this hole to shoot at me, but I still walk around the nether like I think lava is going to suddenly burst through the wall and attack me. So it's not a comfortable thing for me. And there's a certain degree of temptation to head down into these generated caves in order to see if there's any easily accessible ores exposed by the cave generation. But because the caves, they often overlap, they branch, they wind, and there's a point where you have to make the decision of whether or not you're getting your time's worth as you try to navigate through a cave system. And right now, I am not carrying a map, and I'm not carrying very many torches. So I don't know how deep I am. I don't know how close I am to the diamond layer, and I would need to make more torches to carry on anyway, so at this point it's probably not worth delving any deeper than I already have. And sometimes I do get this fear of missing out because on the PlayStation 4, the maximum size of your world is limited. You can't do what they do on Java and Bedrock on the PC, where you can pick a direction and just keep digging into infinity. You will eventually hit the edge of the world, and what that means for the PlayStation 4 is that there is a hard cap on resources. There will only ever be a certain number of diamonds in my entire world seed. And so yes, I do get this sense that if I don't go down into the cave and I don't explore all of its branches for diamonds and abandoned mine shafts, then maybe I'll never find those structures or ore. But again, it's about trade-offs. There's only so much time, energy, and inventory space. So I'm leaving this cave sealing it off, and if I happen to stumble back into it through a later branch mine that I will almost 100% definitely build under here, so be it. Branch mining is probably the better way to find diamonds anyhow. So I decided that I wasn't going to try and make that cave closure look nice. I'm not quite ready to work on that part of the island yet, and I've mentally divided the island into several parts. So there is this beach, there is the southwest beach, there's the southeast peninsula bit, the central island, the northeastern bit, and so what I want to concentrate right now is the southern bit here where I am working, and the central part of the island where I'm going to start building my McMansion. I am going to have to end up removing most of the trees. And I did go into this with the idea that I wanted to preserve as many dark oak trees as I could, but the oak I don't really care about. I will probably have some variety in the final product. I do want to try and keep these giant mushrooms because I don't have any silk touch tools yet, and even if I did, you can't reconstruct a giant mushroom to look the way it did when it generated. When you take the red part of the mushroom blocks becomes red on all 6 sides, and you lose that interior texture. So if these 2 mushrooms are fully complete and haven't had their generation overlapped, then I will be trying to preserve them. So that is a beautiful and complete mushroom, and in real life, don't like mushrooms. Long story. But in Minecraft, where giant mushrooms are pretty toadstools like this, I think we'll keep it. So here I'm getting distracted because I always seem to do things in the most haphazard manner possible. And so we've got another lake in the corner here, which is terribly inconvenient. And I'm going to need to build that up. We also have that oak tree behind me, which it just looks out of place, if you ask me. So it will be coming down. And for the time being, I'm just updating any floating gravity affected blocks. Just to see how much actual filling and building I will need to do to bring this up to reshape this portion of the terrain. I'm also seeing some irregularities where there's just some dirt where I would prefer there be sand. And that's just because it makes me feel better if it's all sand and there's not patches of dirt. Yeah, white ghost wolves can't jump. And like I said, bye bye tree. And I'm probably going to be wanting that dark oak wood anyway, because I do really like the dark wood theme of Woodland Mansions, so I am going to be using that to build my own mini mansion. One of the interesting things with this update is that tree leaves, when broken or decaying, will now sometimes generate sticks, which is great because you need sticks to make tools. So having a fairly ready supply of them or at least having a way to get them without using precious wood is pretty awesome, really. So this whole corner is a mess, and I'm punching leaves because I don't really know what I want to do with it. So I'm basically just procrastinating under the excuse of I need to think about what I'm going to do next. So this is the southwestern beach, and I wanted to maintain this beach but flatten it so that I could set up what would essentially be a sunbathing area. And then, because I never do things in order, I am going to go back to the main beach again and try and focus on this part of the project that will actually let me move on to the mansion building. Okay, so that is it for this episode. I have been Ghostwolf. You can find me on Twitter and on Patreon. If you like my content, you can watch another video. And until next week, cheers!